Welcome to the Develop Yourself podcast, featuring my dad.
So this is a special episode because I have been getting fan mail through a service I use called Buzzsprout, which allows me to basically send my podcast out and distribute it across different, platforms and things like that. The problem is that some of you have been writing me through this platform, and this is crazy, but they don't allow me to respond through the platform. And this is not a bug. This is actually how they decided this would be the best way to make it. And it's pretty ridiculous. So one, if you send me a text message through the show and you do that little send text message thing, just know that I cannot reply there. So if you do want to reply, please just write to brian@parsity.io. That is the best way to reach me. Now, I'm going to answer these in this short episode here because I feel guilty that people have been writing this stuff and I haven't been answering them. So without further ado, let's go through some of these, and maybe you'll find some of the answers to these questions useful, or maybe you're one of the people that wrote these and you're like, damn, that guy's a jerk. He never even responded to me. So here's a pretty good question from somebody from Dayton, Ohio. It says, hey, I love the podcast. Listened since Aaron started it. By the way, Aaron was the previous owner of Parsity and the guy that used to run this podcast. I've been doing it for the last almost year and a half now. So this person's done free code camp. They took one of those software development places at University of Phoenix. They're now in a bachelor's program for cybersecurity, and they're still struggling. Between wife, kids, full-time job, little time to advance my skills. And how do I get mentorship or good experience on a very limited time frame? How can I get someone to let me get my foot in the door and still afford bills for my family of 4? I know I can make more in the future and I'll start off lower pay, but I'm strapped and I live paycheck to paycheck how it is. This sounds a lot like what I was going through, honestly, when I first learned to code. And I had a family. We had 2 kids at the time, and I was barely just getting by, right? What I would focus on is figuring out how to kill as many birds with one stone as possible. And in this case, it sounds like you need to get work experience, which can also lead to mentorship. You'll kind of get that naturally. And you'll also get some validation for your skills. The way we've seen people do this at Parsity that is the most straightforward and the most effective is by going down Main Street, meaning your local community. Maybe you're in a church. Maybe you're in some sort of organization. Maybe your kids are in an organization, some sort of school. Your kids go to school, I assume, and reaching out and saying, what can I do there? Can I contribute? Now, you won't get mentorship in this way, but you will get some validation and you'll build something for somebody else. That alone will teach you a ton. Now, if you're doing cybersecurity, which I'll be completely honest with you, a bit of an orange flag for me. Not because cybersecurity is a bad thing to learn or because it's not important, but you say software engineering and you did a free code camp in advanced software development, and now you're in a bachelor's for cybersecurity. So I think the best thing you can do is, one, just get really clear on your goals. Is your goal to get a job in software, or is it to do cybersecurity? I would hope at the University of Phoenix, where you're paying all this money to go, that they would have some sort of internship or alumni network where you can get an internship, even if it means working, 10 hours a week, and you can do that on the weekends. We're doing an internship right now at Parsity, and we have people, everybody has a full-time job, or most of them do, and they're doing 10 hours a week maximum at the place for 4 weeks. Now, that's a lot to ask. Even 10 hours a week is a lot. We do it for 4 weeks. So that could be one way to go about this, but why is your time frame limited? I get that we want the result quickly, but if you think, well, how am I going to get the best chance? The best chance might not be the thing that's the quickest. I really hope that's helpful, and I don't mean to discourage you at all. I think what you're doing is great. I know it takes a lot of dedication, and the fact that you're doing this with a wife and 4 kids, or with a wife and kids, is commendable. So keep it up. Do the cybersecurity thing if that's what you actually like to do, and then go to your school first and foremost because you're paying them, and they should be absolutely trying to provide you those kind of opportunities. So hope that's helpful. On to the next one. This one's a pretty short one. It says, hey, I'm listening to your podcast. Should I still learn JavaScript in 2025? Yes, you should. And I want to be set up nicely. Okay. What does that mean? Set up nicely? Get Visual Studio Code, get Cursor as a text editor, go to javascript.info, go to Codecademy, do the JavaScript track, start building stuff. Go check out my video on YouTube with how to work with APIs in JavaScript, because I think that's actually the most important thing you can possibly know. It's not learning all these intricacies or weird things about JavaScript. It's learning how to use it practically, particularly with APIs, because learning how to get data and then show it in a page is what you essentially do as a full stack developer or front end developer. It's really all you do. So Hope that's useful. On to the next one. All right, from Burbank says, hey, saw your show with Jeremy. Jeremy is a guy that I have known for a while. He was doing some sales for Parsity. He's also a software engineer. He didn't even graduate high school, and he's worked all the way up to engineering manager in tech. He's in the San Francisco Bay Area, and he's a wonderful, really interesting person to get in touch with and know. It says, I'm interested in your customized mentorship program. Where can I get more info? This turned out to be an ad for me. Apparently, you can get that info at parsity.io/inner-circle. And the customized mentorship program, it's like an anti-boot camp, essentially. It's like we get that people want a job in tech and they want to learn how to code. We also understand that's just half of what you need to know. It's so much more than just learning how to code. Because if it was all about just learning how to code, we'd have a lot more people that had jobs in tech. And we all know that's not the case. We know that boot camps in general have fallen short on that promise. And what we do is take a much more holistic approach. So yeah, if you're in the US and you can afford it, then it's a great alternative to a coding boot camp. It's also more cost effective for now. In the future, I don't think it will be. It will have to be priced correctly because what we offer is something that no boot camp can ever offer, which is customization and personalization and working directly with us. And to my knowledge, no other coding boot camp can offer anything near that at all. Okay, on to the next one. I want to learn the source code. Help. Go on GitHub. I don't know. Most source code is on GitHub if you search hard enough. So you should be able to look that kind of thing up. Yeah, I wish I had an answer for you. I want to learn the source code. Go get the source code. I guarantee you can find it. You'll find it. I believe in you. I believe in you. From Nigeria, someone says, interested. My reply, interesting. Yeah. One ton of really smart people in Nigeria and Pakistan that I've spoken to over the years. I've spoken to more developers in Pakistan and Nigeria probably than in the United States in the last 3 years or so. Ton of really smart people out there. A guy from Pakistan actually designed my website for parsity.io. You might think, aren't you a web developer? Yeah, but I don't have time to do all that. I'm running a business. I work a full-time job. I got kids and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, I hired a really smart person. It was much better than me at designing to do the whole thing. He's a Pakistan dude, super smart. I've met him on Fiverr, and I hired him for more money than you probably would imagine. I paid him over $1,000 to do the site, which is cheap in my opinion. Now, in his country, in Pakistan, I think the exchange rate was really in his favor there, and I would hire him again, no questions asked. And you're thinking, what? I'm in the U.S. That would be a good price for me. Exactly. Stop undercutting yourself. Stop shortchanging yourself, and believe in yourself. Buddy, there are people out there, despite what people want to tell you or think, there are people out there that are charging a lot of money for a website. And people like me are gladly paying. And I write code for a freaking living. I suck at design and I don't have time. So I pay somebody to be the expert. So that way I don't have to think. Anyway, a Nigeria person, I just talked about Nigeria because maybe you're smart like a lot of the other Nigerians I've met, and appreciate your comment, even if I don't really know how to respond to it. Okay, on to the next one. I'm so sorry for you person from UK and Northern Ireland. It says, hi, interview coming up this Friday. Would you be interested in scheduling a practice interview? I'll be honest with you. I do this for people at Parsity because they pay to be in Parsity, and we absolutely do this, and we do a very standardized plan with them and also do a standardized feedback with them on their mock interviews. That being said, I totally suggest you do mock interviews on pramp.com, PRAMP.com. I am not sponsored. It's what I use. I've even shown my history in another YouTube video. I use this thing quite often, or at least I was when I was on the interview grind. Now that I'm not, I haven't used it in about 6 months or so. But yeah, Pramp is my number one tool for practicing interviewing with people. And in general, if you're not in Parsity, I'm probably not ethically going to want to just offer free services because there are people that are paying me and my buddy Zubin to do this stuff, to perform this service for them. So I wouldn't feel right just doing it for free unless there's some very unique circumstance. And that's people that I know. If I have a relationship with you, happy to do that. If I don't really know you, I don't feel like it's ethical for me to do that, because when would I decide that it's enough, right? If I have 1,000 people ask for me, there's no way I can do that. The number of people in Parsity, if everybody asked me, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I could make time. But if people that I don't know very well ask, it just wouldn't be fair to the others that are paying for that service. On to the next one. It says, great show. Listen to episode number 174, Heading to the Promised Land. That's right. Now, Parsity is not a cult. Let me just repeat that. Parsity is not a cult, but I'm glad you're headed to the promised land, wherever that may be for you. That's awesome to hear. I love hearing people saying, hey, I'm feeling juiced up. I'm feeling fired up. That's kind of the whole point of the show, besides letting you know about Parsity and getting you to maybe join. It's to get people fired up. I remember what it was like, feeling like you're all alone and maybe no one really knows or cares what you're going through. And it's tough. So, the show is to make you feel less alone at a very fundamental level and give you some practical advice to become a software engineer. And 99% of you won't join Parsity. So I don't do it, obviously, just for business. That'd be a pretty stupid business tactic, I suppose. But yeah, I do it to hear stuff like that. So yeah, super happy to hear that, you person from Brisbane, California. This person from Abuja, not sure where that is, it says, I'm listening and I want to know whether your university is free or paid. It is paid, my friend, because I pay a lot of money just to have this program running. And we actually just are getting accredited in the U.S. in the state of Indiana. Don't ask why it's in the state of Indiana. U.S. is a big place. We decided Indiana because we have a person that we work with in Indiana. California is notoriously difficult and just not a great state for getting things accredited or doing anything with business. I'm from California, not the greatest place to do business or do anything interesting. So yeah, it is very much paid for sure. Did you know that to get a degree or to get a license for cutting hair, do you know how much a barber license costs in California? Anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. And I'll just give you a big hint here. Parsity is very much under that range, right? We're right under the lowest range. We're cheaper than a barber college right now, which is a problem in my opinion. I know people say, well, everything should be free. It's not. And there's plenty of free resources out there. And if you want to do those, I suggest you do those for sure, especially if you're in a different country. It's going to be wildly expensive for you to join Parsity. If you're in the US, in my opinion, it's not. And I'm not saying that because I'm, been writing code for 10 years, whatever. This price that we're offering is less than what most coding boot camps, or than almost any coding boot camp is currently offering. Again, I think this is a problem because I think that in people's minds, they look at us as a cheap option, which is weird because we should probably be one of the most high-priced options, in my opinion. Most boot camps, they have like a guy or a girl, woman, man, that is fresh out of that boot camp teaching you. They're not working full-time because if they were, they wouldn't have time to do that too during the day. It's just not possible. So what you're mostly getting is people that haven't worked professionally very much, or maybe they're between jobs. That could be your best bet. If they're between jobs, you might have a really good person. Most likely, though, is that you got a person that just graduated from that coding program and they don't know very much in the first place, and now they're teaching you. Not a great move. In fact, I was one of those people at a coding boot camp where I was barely out and I was coming back to teach people, and this was 2015, 10 years ago, and they were paying $10,000 in 2015 to learn from me back then. That was not really great. At the time, I was naive and thought, oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense because now the knowledge is fresh in my mind. But how could I really teach somebody something I was barely understanding myself? So roundabout answer for saying no, it's not free. We're going to do one more here. And this one, I really hope this person is listening. My name is Sebastian, and I'm interested in potentially switching careers. Do you have an email where I can send my story? I do. And I would love to hear your story. I genuinely like reading people's emails and the nice things they have to say. I mean, I get some mean emails, 100%. I get some jerks out there that want to tell me how much I suck or I'm fake or whatever. They hate the commercials in the podcast. Well, I get it. I put myself out there and I expect to get a little bit of hate, but 99% of the time I get a lot of love. So Sebastian, if you're listening to this, yeah, please write to me. My email is brian@parsity.io. Okay, that's all the fan mail that I'm going to read. And I really sincerely hope that that you heard this and that if you want to write me, don't think I'm ignoring you. That's never my intention. Please just write to brian@parsity.io. And if you just want me to answer a question, feel free to keep using the fan mail option or the send us a text message link that is in the show notes, because I'm more than happy to keep doing that. But yeah, I would have felt really bad if people just thought I was totally ignoring them. I'm not. Promise you I'm not. So hopefully you got some use out of this. And if you weren't one of these people, if you weren't one of these 5 or 6 people, hopefully you still enjoyed hearing me go through some of these. And I will see you around. This is a special episode. I'll still be back on Thursday with yet another episode, a regular one, not a fan mail one. See you around.